Which brand has lost you as a customer? DirecTV. Got diagnosed with leukemia. They spent the first month figuring out how to fire me. Second month they insisted they never received any documentation from my physician. Even when I was on the phone with a nursing assistant as she faxed the information to them. Walked into the office one day. They gave me a box and walked me out because I hadn't provided the necessary documentation within 30 days. DirecTV. Sprint. My first cell phone was Sprint. Had them for years. Then they decided to charge me twice a month for one phone. Called to get it fixed. And nothing. I switched to AT&T and we cancelled Sprint. Kept same number though. Sprint kept charging me after cancelling and tried to sue me for not paying. Even though I had record of the cancellation. INDR. Scholl's shoes. 20 years ago they were great if you were on your feet a lot. Now they are sold at Walmart and are absolute garbage. And I'm pretty sure he's not a real doctor. Life pro tip. Never buy anything that says something like made exclusively for Walmart on the packaging. That's code for Walmart forces us to lower our prices every year. But we hit a point where we couldn't go any cheaper without using Thai materials. We didn't want to destroy our brand. So we sell a Thai version of our product at Walmart. And the regular stuff everywhere else. SiriusXM. I've never been spammed more by a company in my life after cancelling my subscription. Seriously, like 30 letters and 10 calls in 6 months even after picking up those calls and telling them to remove me from their lead list. Every brand that boasts about its JD Power Award for initial reliability to real people, not actors. Logan's Roadhouse. Went to one a decade ago and got a buffalo chicken sandwich. It was raw in the middle. I told the server and her response was yeah. It's usually a safer bet to get the chicken strips. Left right then and won't go back. Something similar happened to me at a food truck in New York City. I got chicken kebabs that were raw in the middle. Went back and told them. Their response was you should have asked for the chicken well done then. That's not how chicken works. Paddy Power. Held my money hostage 4 weeks following a big win because apparently my account wasn't correctly verified. This hadn't stopped them taking my money for 6 years until that win. Edit. It seems like this is common across a number of betting sites. If this happens to you then persistence pays off and you can usually get your money back eventually if you keep hassling them. Avast. I was happy for the most part. But one day I noticed my browser changed to Avast one. Without me ever installing it. Accepting it or even being notified that said browser is being added to the package. When I install I always go for manual options so I can take off unwanted crap. This just happened with one of the updates. So. No thanks Avast. You can go yourself now. Expedia. They've screwed me several times now and their customer service straight up lies and is designed to be so frustrating you give up. Expedia. Use Expedia to find the deal. Call the hotel directly and say you saw the deal on Expedia. But I'd rather book with the hotel directly because your customer service is stellar. Is it possible to get the same rate as what Expedia is offering for this date? I've found most hotels will not only match the rate, but sometimes give me a better deal or even a free upgrade. Any brand with a loud auto-playing advertisement that takes a large portion of the screen. Or uses the here is the link you wanted. Whoops, the page just shifted up and you clicked on our ad, thanks for the business tactic. I've stopped banking with major banks. I keep all of my money and get all of my loans from a local credit union. Their rates are amazing. The account fees are non-existent. And I've never had better customer service in my life at any bank, major or minor. Don't reward the big banks. People. HP. Used to love their printers. Open box. Plug them in and they just worked. Didn't matter if I was using Windows, Linux, BSD, X, Mac OS, iOS, Android or whatever. Used them at the office, home, on the road. Recommended then to friends, relatives, etc. Had to replace the printer in my truck after 5 years, so naturally bought another HP. Only print black and white documents. For some reason the tricolor cartridge needs to be replaced and the printer won't print a black and white document without it. Replace said cartridge. 2 weeks later is telling me to replace it again. Replace printer with a different model. Same thing a few weeks down the road. Bought a brother for less than the equivalent HP model, and it's been working beautifully for 4 months now. Admittedly, brother's app's Android support isn't as polished as HP's, but it works. Boston Pizza. Worked for them in 2002 and I still haven't forgiven them. Also, they microwave their nachos. Quick Wikipedia. Since I'm American and have never heard of Boston Pizza, and found this gem in 2002. Thrifty car rental. Got a car with problems I noticed on my drive from the airport. At the same time my dad was in hospice and they weren't sure how long he would be alive. Thrifty wouldn't do anything to help me. Told me to return the car and exchange it. And they would charge me for the pleasure. I tried to explain my situation. Airport was 2 hours away. Dad's dying. Can I have AAA tow it back to them or something? No. I ended up renting a second car in my hometown while he was dying and paid for the full 2 weeks renting one car that worked and one from Thrifty. Complained to corporate and their response was basically, maybe you shouldn't have prioritized your dad's dying over a rental car. Thrifty. PayPal. I've been denied withdrawing my money for literally no reason whatsoever. I've had to verify my card 5 times. And the customer service is non-existent. I sure hope this isn't the experience everyone gets. GameStop. I used to swear by buying physical copies. So I'd always go to my local GameStop to buy my games. Life started to get busy. So instead of pre-ordering games at the store, I'd buy them on the PlayStation Store. The nail in the coffin was just the other week when I went to purchase a pre-owned game and was accidentally charged twice for the game on my debit card. It took 3 phone calls, 2 emails, and a visit to the store before I could get any progress in getting a refund. Just finished my call with customer service and I should finally get a refund within 10 days. But that experience has sealed the deal for me that they will no longer get my business. Adobe. 130 euros for Lightroom with upgrade to a new version every 1-2 years, costing 70 euros was a very fair deal for hobby photographers. Buy the software and then buy every other upgrade, or not, and use it forever. But no. Adobe had to switch everything to their subscription model. So now you pay 12 euros per month to keep using the software. The perpetual license version hasn't received feature updates in some time and recently it got its last camera lens support update. It's now no longer being supported. I'll keep using the software as long as I have a camera lens that is supported and as long as it's not outdated. But once there's a need to update, I will look for something that's not made by Adobe. Tim Hortons. Prices keep rising and quality is absolute now. Sears. Even their most expensive vacuum cleaners don't hold up under normal use. The one we bought couldn't suck cat hair from the furniture and quit after 1 year. Sears wouldn't warranty it. Having been a customer, employee, and having them as my customer in a different line of work, I can honestly say I will avoid GE products and businesses at all cost. Wells Fargo. I had the same account since I was 10. It started as my hometown bank, but after many buyouts Wells took over. Kept them for a long time, but after all the shot came out of their predatory practices, I closed all my accounts and will never look back. I have 3 dogs. If your company airs a commercial with a doorbell sound during the ad, I don't buy from you. Beers. And you can't even call it ice cream because there's not enough actual cream. And it must be called frozen dairy dessert. eBay. Their buyer protections encourage rampant fraud and abuse. Electronics and vinyls in particular. perfectly fine item will get a return requested when all of a sudden there's a scratch or defect that never existed before. Try and deny it, citing your multiple pictures and description. eBay says now you and snatches it from your PayPal. Not once have I heard of a dispute going in a seller's favor. You are forced to accept the return. Still owe them the final value fee. And you're paying for shipping back. Your PayPal account is now negative $50. And your old computer or phone comes back with missing parts, or the vinyl you get back is something entirely different. Try and get eBay to take care of that. They'll say it's not their problem or require further proof. Excuse me? Do not use eBay. Cable TV in general. I haven't had it in 7 years. I've been able to save money just using Netflix, Hulu and occasionally HBO. Comcast. Despite their Thai service, I was willing to ray up with them if they would keep the initial rate I had been paying the previous 2 years. They declined, and when asked if they wanted some of my money or none of my money, they boldly told me that none of my money was the best option for them. Normal businesses can't survive with that kind of disrespect and disregard for their customers. They are 100% a monopoly. I live in a Google Fiber area where you can come and watch Comcast act like decent human beings. Out of pure survival instinct. They tripled my internet speeds and doubled my channels, all premium channels, while cutting my bill 40% a month. Reef sandals. I have been buying them for over almost 15 years. The first pair lasted me 3 years and my second almost 3 years. Since then they have lasted less and less time until my last 2 pairs have both died within 6 months of purchase. I swapped to rainbows since my fiance loves hers and I am very happy so far after about a year. Spirit Airlines. Once you get past the allure of cheap airfare, you realize how Thai of an airline they actually are. Their flight times are super inconvenient. Either at crack of dawn, early or midnight. Constant delays. Incredibly hard to use your miles. You get nothing but a seat. I used to use them sparingly because they are the only commercial airline at an airport that is 10 minutes away from my house. But after enough bad experiences, coupled with me discovering JetBlue, which, in my experience, has been the best low-cost airline so far, I'll never fly Spirit again. TWC Spectrum. Used their services for 5+ years, watching their rates go up and up. While they offer new subscribers outstanding price packages. Tried to negotiate with them and the best they offered were mere pittances. I arranged to change over to Frontier DSL, and after I called TWC to cancel my service, suddenly they deluge me with offers at the same rates as new subscribers. Too late, boys. Maybe I'll call ya in a couple years. Well, not really a brand, but a store. Kohl's can suck my left nut. Their business model is atrocious to me. They seem to mark up every product in the store, like 100%, and then throw Kohl's cash and discounts at you to make it seem like you're saving money. But at the end of the day you're spending just as much as if you just went somewhere else. It seems like that store has everything perpetually 75% off and they're still making boatloads of money. How do people not connect the dots? Edit. It has occurred to me that I care so little for the store that I am consistently spelling it wrong. I'm not changing it. I'm in too deep. The Seafeed channel once they rebranded to Sci-Fi. For one thing, that's just a stupid name. For another, they haven't put out much in the way of quality science fiction television in years. And the few things they did, like The Expanse, they half-assed. I try really hard to avoid Walmart. But I live in small town America and sometimes I can't avoid it. I don't like how they treat their employees. But mostly it's because the tire and oil change manager at my Walmart is a chauvinistic, loathsome carbuncle of a human being. American Express. I don't remember why, but I'm good at holding a grudge. Denny's. 40 minutes for cold food. 20 after we finished eating to get the check. 4 people with 4 separate checks. And every ticket had our collective mismatched food. 15 minutes for the manager to fix it. Some of the stuff on the ticket we didn't even get. Waffle House is home. Popeyes. That has literally never been my experience. Buffalo Wild Wings. I used to be able to go there on a Tuesday or Thursday and get some pretty damn good food for $10. Now I'm lucky to get out of there for under $20 even on their cheap wings days, and the chicken is garbage. I'm not entirely convinced the boneless wings are even chicken these days. Any brand that puts their postcards, flyers, pamphlets on my car gets hot as out here. And I've had ink transfer. That stuff is a bitch and a half to remove. If you put on my car, congratulations. You have preemptively lost a customer. Edit. It's interesting watching this go up and down. Apparently at least 3 people actually like that. Honda. I paid extra for a hybrid Civic over a regular one. And then one day I got a notice that there was a warranty recall on the car's firmware. I took it into the dealership and they updated it. I then no longer had a hybrid. It turns out that Honda didn't like replacing the hybrid batteries while they were still under warranty. Which was happening in hot climates. I live in such a climate. So they just put out an update to the firmware to not use the hybrid engine anymore. I paid extra for a hybrid only to end up with a 4-cylinder engine and a giant electric paperweight. And Honda thought this was fine. They lost the class action lawsuit. But didn't really care because it cost them less than replacing the batteries under warranty would have. So they gave everybody $100 cash and $100 toward the purchase of a new Honda. No thanks. JCPenney. There was one in-store clothing brand they had for a long time that I loved. And at one point when they were going through various problems some years ago, they cut it. I was a very loyal customer because of that brand. And with it gone, I had zero reason to shop there again. They've since brought it back but it isn't the same. The NFL. 1. The CTE issue bothered me. But I stayed 2. Deflategate bothered me. But I stayed 3. How they treated Colin Kaepernick bothered me. But I stayed 4. Their new kneeling policy and their kowtowing to Trump was the last straw. I gave away my NFL merch to the Salvation Army. Unfortunately Bungie Studios. Their game design and management has gone right down after Activision purchased them. Sad to see such a great game company fall. Bluehole Studio. So much potential. Everything went down the river. Blaming everyone except themselves. Volkswagen. I stupidly bought one of their overpriced, overly complex and over-engineered cars because they told me the pricey aftermarket warranty would cover anything at all that went wrong with the thing. Oh wait. Except that overly complicated folding hardtop convertible roof that has 632 moving parts. Oh, you want a loaner? Better beg because we don't normally do that for our customers. Oh, that cell that keeps coming on? That's normal. Those 5 other problems? That's normal. In fact, why are you even talking to us mighty service gods anyway? Pune? We're above you and we'll make that clear in every interaction where we can barely withhold our contempt. Give us large amounts of money and we might deign to fix your car. Or not. And this is before you factor in the cheating diesel scandals and corporate malfeasance. I will never purchase another VW product in my life. As someone who works in customer service, I'm having a real hard time figuring out which one of these are personal problems and which are actually company ups. Hell, one guy commented saying he left his bank because they blocked his card when he went abroad. USPS. We moved into a new subdivision 6 months ago and our neighborhood is convinced our mailman just says it and doesn't deliver to us on Saturdays. Bell Canada. Because you. Ram Dodge Chrysler. They put out such garbage and charge a premium for doing so. They milk the Jeep brand and put out small queens at 40-50k that are mechanically inferior. Their trucks are a bit cheaper, but are offset by higher failure rates and general cost of maintenance. They use standard spark plugs with a replacement life of 30,000 miles. Their sheet metal is extra thin. They insert foam pads and sealant in high moisture areas which leads to rust forming from the inside. They just put out a garbage product. Ryanair. EasyJet. Ryanair and EasyJet have their place. You get all with them. But you also pay all to them, so it evens out. Supreme. The brand label looks like or something dredged from my septic tank. I have seen more imaginative branding ideas at Primark. The quality is for the price. It is like something my granny bought from a used Goodwill store. Nokia. I loved their phones for a long time. They worked for a long time and did not break. Downpour audiobooks. And EA. Literally anything with a non-GMO verified sticker. I'm not paying more for your same food cause you want to make more money by killing poor people. Walmart. They went to every town in the USA. Ran all the mom and pop stores out of business. And then a few years later say with a straight face that they need protection from Amazon running them out of business. There are so many other reasons to hate on Walmart, but that's mine. Apple as of the other day. You for calling my 8-year-old computer vintage and telling me I have to go somewhere else for replacement parts. Obviously things will break in 8 years, but why would I buy another product from you so expensive as a computer knowing not far down the line you will not support it anymore? Side note. Anyone know where I can get a solid computer that isn't Mac? Desktop preferable. And can record audio? And watch PRN? Side note. Anyone know where I can get a solid computer that isn't Mac? Build your own. Gonna save you some. Alright. I don't buy Apple products because of planned obsolescence, but come on, 8 years? You got your money's worth, I think. AT&T. They got the tech but they miss on customer service. Nestle. I understand every corporation has an evil side. But those seems to be actively trying to make the world a worse place to live in. BP don't dump oil in the ocean. O'Reilly Auto Parts. I've never actually had a bad experience there. I just refuse to shop there because of their horrible goddamned jingle. Oh really? Games Workshop. Which of the many poor decisions was it? EA. Common need I say why? Is your explanation part of the DLC? Ace Hardware. Bought copper pipe from them and didn't get a good look at it until I got home. They loaded it in my truck. It was all corroded and green with built up gunk. I call the store and talk to the owner and he immediately gets defensive saying, "You're the only person who's ever complained about my copper. I have men who know their stuff who exclusively buy their copper from me." I assumed the emphasis on men was meant to be a jab at me being a woman. How could someone without a dick have an opinion on the quality of his copper? I've never pulled the sexist card in my life. But I think this was sexism. Close bracket. My product is made in America. You're not going to find that anywhere else around here. I told him I could physically see it says product of Mexico stamped literally all over the piping. In the end, he refused a refund. That guy. 1. Nestle 2. EA 3. Your powers of thread summary are most impressive. EA. Wells Fargo. Bank of America. Avast. Norton. Clearwire. The list goes on and on. Some of them I wasn't even a customer and I'll never be. Fox. They cancelled The Last Man on Earth on a cliffhanger. Off. Nestle. After their CEO said several years ago that access to water shouldn't be a basic human right. Kat Von D Cosmetics lost me when she said she won't vaccinate her kid. Levy. I used to outgrow them. Now they just fall apart. I bought a protection plan from Best Buy once for a product and said product died 3 weeks later. Went back in and said that product was discontinued and would not honor protection plan. Have not stepped foot in one since. Going on 6 years. Chick-fil-A because of their stance on LGBT. OWHO am I kidding, their food is too damn good. Edit. To be clear, I'm not trying to on LGBT rights. It's a very important matter, especially to me, that needs to be highlighted more than just during Pride Month. I'm bi but I still enjoy their food. It doesn't matter if they are horrible people or not. Their food is very good.